Hi everyone, welcome to First Phase Media. I am Mark, and today we'll be discussing with Blake Morgan, CEO of Opawica Explorations, a junior Canadian exploration company with a strong portfolio of precious and base metal properties. How are you, Blake?
I'm wonderful. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me on.
It's our pleasure. So, could you tell us more about Opawica, where your operations are involved?
Yeah, sure. So we're in two regions of Canada. So we're in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. So the Abitibi Greenstone Belt is one of the most prolific gold-bearing regions in the world, still to this day. So, just in our area alone, we're basically only surrounded by majors. So we have people like Agnico Eagle, which are 16 billion, Yamada, which is 4-5 billion, IM Gold, which is 3 billion. So we're basically a little junior surrounded by, elephant companies. So that's Quebec. Then we're also in Newfoundland. We have 40,000 hectares in that region. We have 5 different properties. A couple are next to Newfound Gold. And their value is around 1.4 billion. They've made a major discovery recently. And our other properties are on the same fault system as Marathon Gold, which goes into production sometime next year. So both areas we're in a really prolific gold-bearing region.
Okay, because right now, if I'm not wrong, your company's market cap is only 10 million, right? And so it's incredibly low when we compare to the big potential of the area where you are involved.
That's exactly right. Our market cap is extremely low. And, for example, Newfound Gold had, 2 years ago, had a tiny little market cap. They've made a discovery and now they're around $1.4 billion. So you can see the potential of these junior miners of, a couple of good hits on the drill and sort of how quick they can move.
Okay. And so you were saying you were involved in Newfoundland, recently, for the last couple of years, it was described as the new gold rush. So why is it important for Opawica to be involved there?
Yeah, well, definitely. So we got actually lucky in that region. So we started to move into that area a little bit before the gold rush started. And we acquired 40,000 hectares. Now, if you look at Newfoundland as a whole, there is no land left. It's completely full. And the good thing about Opawica is we are in the prime areas. And, now it's filled up. People are doing work. You're getting discoveries made. Our assets that we picked up for very cheap many years ago are now worth 20 to 50 times what we paid for them. Okay. So, exploration potential there is phenomenal. But so is, asset management. We've got 5 assets and we can capitalize on them, via property deals, and we can do work. So, we're very blessed to be in that region.
Okay. And because you were saying you have many assets, and out of all your projects, if you could pick just one, to develop more on that one, which one you would say is the most exciting?
Well, it's I've got 2 which I'm in love with. So it's the 2 projects we've got in Quebec, the Bazooka and the Arrowhead Project. I would say my favorite is the Arrowhead Project, just because it's a complete new discovery. It's a new area. What's interesting is we're completely surrounded by Agnico Eagle. So we're straight in smack bang in the middle of them. You've got their number 1 LaRonde mine. So their premier mine of Agnico is right next door to us. So yeah, I'd say that's my biggest pick. But Bazooka's not far off. We've got some really high grade there. We're building up a resource. So it's definitely one of them too.
Okay. It's like, based on what you were saying about the whole potential, you have a gift, you already know what could potentially be inside, but you can open it. Yeah, that's it.
That's exactly right. So we've done years of work now on these properties. So we're just looking to build up that potential, and so far it's going extremely well. In the last 12 to 18 months, we've been doing a lot of exploration work. We're currently drilling a project now. We've just finished drilling the project, about 4 weeks ago, which we're waiting on assays. But visually, everything that's coming back from Quebec is stunning. So we just need to wait for these assays to come in and sort of, focus in what our next steps will be. The company, lucky enough, is well capitalized. We still have millions of dollars in the bank. So we're not going to have to do any cheap fundraising like you see in a lot of other companies doing. So, we were well prepared for a down market, and we're going to have a lot of news flowing out over the next, week to 6 months. And we've got a lot of work to still be done. So, it's going to be a very exciting year for us.
Okay, it's good you're talking about, cash position and stuff, because it was about to be my next question. So I like to focus on your balance sheet, what's your cash position right now?
Yeah, so we've got 2.1 million in the bank. We already have around nearly 400,000 prepaid, and we have zero debt. So we've already paid for the last drilling program that's taken place a few months ago. We've already prepaid and paid for the drilling program that's currently going. And like I said, over $2 million in the bank. And we'll look to do some drilling again, later on in the year as we get these assays back. So, the company is in a good position for the next 12 to 24 months without an issue.
Okay.
All our warrants are also situated at 60 and 75 cents. So, we're hoping that these assay results are quite good. We can continue to build up the company. And, later on this year, we start to get those things exercised, which will then capitalize the company for the next, again, 1 to 2 years. So, we're in a really good position at the moment.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting, even when you're talking about the executive price for the warrants, because most of the time for mining companies, they always very low to make sure they can raise money. And the fact that yours are, you were saying 80 cents, right?
60 and 75. Yeah.
60 and 75. It's very optimistic. And even for investors, it shows where the company wants to go. And a high exercise price means a higher valuation. So higher share price. So yeah,
exactly. We do have a very tight share structure. We've only got 41 million shares out. 12 months ago, we did a placement at 40 cents. Then we did one at 50 cents and then one at 55 cents. So, every placement's been, on an upwards trajectory. And then we sort of, put our warrants in with those placements, hence why they're 60 and 75 cents. You mentioned the market cap before. We're only $10 million at the moment. I think we're trading around, 25 cents to 30 cents, something like that. So we're extremely undervalued in our eyes. Obviously, we're a lot cheaper than our last 3 private placements. And, we're currently drilling and we're waiting on assays. So, yeah, we've definitely got a lot of room to grow. That's for sure.
Yeah. And still, on the fundamental side, you were saying you have a tight float. And also, I noticed you have big insiders, big investors in the company. So could you develop more about them?
Yeah, certainly. So Eric Sprott is our number one investor. I think he owns around 8% of the company at this time. And then we had Gold Spot Discoveries. They also are a large investor. And Eric Sprott actually owns, I think, around 30% of that company, but don't quote me on that one. So, we've got definitely one of the biggest guys in the world, involved with the company, which is fantastic. We also have that sort of the big guys at Canaccord and Haywoods and those sort of broker firms. So, we're very, very well positioned for our long-term shareholders. We've got the right guys involved. And now it's just time to get this story out because I feel the more people know this story, the more exciting it's going to get for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And also I was checking, the insiders buying and selling. I noticed you were buying a lot on the market, and I think it deserves credit to say that. You got, I think, for the last year, 83 buys on the market. And does it mean, you're very optimistic about the whole project?
Yes, exactly. So I've bought around 700,000 shares on the open market in the last 7-8 months. So it's around $300,000 Canadian. So it's a lot. You don't really see other CEOs putting that much money into their own company, but I think we have something special here. So I'm willing to back it with my own dollars. So, and I'll continue to do so.
Perfect. We will, we'll be looking at it and I'm pretty sure investors that already invested or are looking for investing in Opawica, it's a data that most of investors are looking at. So it's very promising. And I'd like to jump on the Arrowhead project about Opawica and the place where it's involved. Are there any other projects, not Opawica, but neighbors who have been acquired recently or should be acquired in the future?
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of update on the Arrowhead project. So we're currently drilling that project now, and we're hitting some very visually exciting intercepts. So you're going to see some news come out, or you might have already seen some in regards to that. But what's exciting there is, it's our maiden program. We're hitting some very visually exciting stuff. We're completely surrounded by Agnico Eagle on all sides. Their LaRonde mine is around 8 kilometers away, so that's their premier mine. We also have the Westwood mine from IAMGOLD, which is right next door. We have Vantex and Falco worth billions of dollars all the way around us. So, we basically have our little property completely surrounded by juggernauts. They're all in between $2 to $20 million companies. So we're in the right area. What's exciting is we have 6 different working mills within 20 kilometers of our company. So obviously, a mine life has a lifetime. They last 10, 20 years. And when these majors start to get a bit low on their resources, well, they're going to come knocking on a door of someone that has a resource that is close. And that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to build these properties up, and then we're looking to be knocked on the door by, your Agnico Eagles and Yamadas, and we want to be bought out. So that's the goal of the company. We're definitely headed in the right direction, and we'll see what happens over the next 12 months.
Awesome. And so for our viewers, listeners, so because I guess this should be like more medium long term. So what are the next catalysts for the company?
So we recently completed a 5,000 meter program on the Bazooka property. We drilled 22 holes. 4 of those holes come back with visible gold. So nearly 20% of what we drilled come back with visible gold. So visually it looks stunning. So we're waiting on assays on that project. I thought we'd already have them back for this interview, but unfortunately we still have not got them back in. As we all know, labs are struggling at the moment to try and find staff, but hopefully that gets better soon. So Bazooka, we're waiting on assays. The Arrowhead project we're currently drilling that now. And we're hitting some really favorable intercepts. We've got a beautiful section that's about 16 meters long, and it visually looks stunning. So we're hoping we can continue to hit some more of this stuff. We've drilled around, I think it's around 12, 13 holes so far, and we've hit some exciting stuff on probably about 4 or 5 of them. So these are areas that have never been drilled before. They've never been touched. So you're going to definitely have some news coming out in regards to the Arrowhead, and then we'll have some assays coming back on that property as well. So plenty of news to come, that's for sure.
Okay, and if we focus on the future, long-term future, let's say 5 years. So it's just supposition, just guessing, it will be what you were gonna say.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, in 5 years, I'm hoping we're not here anymore. I'm hoping we're bored out and we're all sailing away on our yachts. So that's sort of the target. We obviously, we're quite aggressive with our workload. Well, we like to raise capital. We like to put it straight into the ground. So, I think in 5 years' time, I'm hoping the company has been bought out by then. So we'll see what happens in the near term.
Okay, awesome. And now I'd like to ask a more personal question. To know more about you. As you are the CEO, so what motivation is driving you to lead the Opawica exploration project?
Yeah, well, so my family, I'm a 3rd generation miner. So, my grandfather worked for Rio Tinto for around 30, 40 years. My father worked for Rio Tinto for, 20 odd years. And that's where I started. So I worked for them as well. So, the passion is inbuilt in the family. Now, with Opawica, what's exciting is, we have a very, very good shot at finding something substantial. And not just one, we've got numerous shots. And, that's where the passion comes. It's a treasure hunt. I'm here obviously to find something. I'm here to make my shareholders some money, and I'm hoping we're on the right direction.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you for the words about you, the explanation of what Opawica does, where you would see at the projects, the drillings. It was very interesting, and for sure, I'm gonna be more than excited to keep a look at your company to see where you will be involving in the future.
Beautiful. Well, thanks for having me on, Mark, and it was an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to talking again soon.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. Have a good day.
Cheers.